I don't think he might not have a chance because I still look at the totality of a player. Like I mentioned, defense. LeBron has about 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 defensive player awards. Steph has none.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing Steph can compete with is just with all NBA, and that's just meaning offense. Because I think he might be on par to break that one day, depending on how long his career keeps continuing. But he just isn't the overall total player that LeBron is. So some people can look at it. They look at championships. Like if Steph gets his 5th championship, maybe that means that. I still don't look at it because overall, he just isn't the player LeBron is. LeBron can impact. We all know LeBron in his prime, which he's not in his prime anymore, which sounds ridiculous because he did average 30 points during the regular season, damn near. But LeBron in his primes is a threat on both ends. Steph was never that. People can tell me all they want to. Steph is not a terrible defender, which he isn't. He's decent, but he's just not. Sometimes he's a liability on that end. Sometimes, not all the time, but just sometimes. So he's just not the total player that LeBron is. That's what I look at.
Yeah. So are we looking at who's the better player between them two, or are we looking at like this? There's always got to be that distinction. If are we talking about like a better player is by far LeBron James. So I'm looking at somebody who's a more complete basketball player. I'm gonna go with that. Like it's the same way I look at Kobe. Kobe doesn't have a better legacy than LeBron or Mike to me, but I think I just personally think he's better than both of them. I think Kobe's the best basketball player ever. I think Kyrie Irving is better than Magic Johnson. But he ain't. I just think he is. We all. I mean, player to player, he's better than Magic Johnson.
What you mean player? Oh, okay.
Just player to player. Yeah, from just a talent perspective. But from a legacy perspective, you have to take into account so many things. So I don't think Curry has LeBron's argument for him being the GOAT and him being the most is his longevity and how he lived up to the hype. That's what it is. Right? Yeah. Fuck all the finals rings. And it's different arguments for different guys. Fuck the final stuff and the record or whatever the case may be. It's his longevity. And it's the point that he's a guy that came out of high school and lived up to the hype. But Curry's legacy, everybody's legacy is different. The question is, whose legacy do you prefer the most? Like whose story was a little bit better, right?
Oh. Yeah, it's definitely LeBron's story.
It's kind of tough to judge though, just based off of how they both really came in the league just two.
It's different. Everybody's got a different story.
LeBron was, a so-called chosen when he came in with all this hype, whereas Steph, people weren't really thinking of Steph. I wouldn't say not thinking of him because he did go crazy in that tournament, but I mean, not to the point where we thought he would be where he is now.
Yeah, like it took Steph Curry. The Steph Curry reign started in 2015. It took Steph Curry under 10 years to pretty much establish himself as the best point guard ever, arguably. Yeah. I mean, it was a 10-year boom. Was there a guy in league history who did so much stuff from an all-time standpoint in that short period of time?
Jordan.
I guess probably not. But what I would say, what bothers me about this Steph. Like, he's an all-time player, obviously, and he's top 10 probably. But what bothers me about the Steph and LeBron debate is just those rings he got with KD bothers me. Now, if he never would have got those rings with KD, I would look at this differently, say you have a chance. But the fact that, and I know Steph won without KD, so that's why I'm kind of like, damn, you probably could have won some of these rings without him. Why did you need KD to do that? Because KD was the best player on that team when KD was with the Warriors. That's the problem I have. Like, I'm just doing a hypothetical. Like, you switch that, let LeBron be on a, well, I can't say that because KD might have been better, but I'm just saying the fact that KD, he cried, they say he cried, I don't think he cried. They cried to KD and went to the Hamptons to get him to come to that team because they knew LeBron was going to beat him the next following years. That bothers me as far as legacy. If we're just comparing legacy to legacy, that just bothers me, if I'm being honest.
I think here's my thing about the KD rings. I think the KD rings, I don't care about those anymore because I think the Kevin Durant rings are only an argument if Steph Curry didn't win a ring without him. You can only say, "Oh, Steph's rings, he got him with KD." I feel like last year he put all of that to rest. Like it's like Kobe. If Kobe left his career with just 3 rings, and those were the Shaq rings, then we just say, "Oh, he only has those 3 rings because of Shaq." But the 2 that he got afterwards against Orlando and against Boston showed us, okay, he can go lead a team. So right now, Kevin Durant is in a situation where he's trying to prove he can go win a ring as or win a real ring, quote unquote, right? Steph Curry's already proven that twice. So the KD thing only, with Steph Curry at least, it only works if Curry doesn't win those other 2 championships kind of on his own.
I know he can lead a team to it, but my problem is that you still have to look at it like this. That still adds 2 championships to his legacy.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. I know, like he said, he proved he can do it. He did it before KD got there, even though Kyrie got hurt, Kevin Love got hurt. People
True.
get hurt. It's the reality of it. People get lucky. You get over that. But it's just the fact that those 2 rings that KD got with him are still 2 rings that's added to his legacy. Therefore, I can go off that too. But what you said makes sense because I definitely believe he can't lead a team to a championship. I don't not believe that at all. It's just the fact that those 2 rings is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you 73 and you were 73-9 and you get like, dude, this is the crazy part about it. I know people compare LeBron went to Miami. He got Chris Bosh, all that. Miami was a first-round team that got gentlemen sweep by the Celtics. It's not the same thing. This team was a 73-9 team that added probably one of the top 2 players in the league at that time. If he wasn't 1, he was 2. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's just like I said. I mean, I'm not saying Curry's there. Like I think, like I said, from a legacy standpoint, to me it goes number 1 Jordan because I think probably had the best career out of any athlete ever, and 2 it's LeBron, right, from an NBA perspective. I think the thing about Curry, he's not there yet, but I just think he's way closer than a lot of people realize. And that's just my biggest thing is Curry's like argument for having a top 5 career in the history of the game is way closer for like a bunch of reasons. Like I said, one, there's the short time period in which he was able to put himself in those all-time conversations. He did it in under 10 years. In under 10 years, he becomes the undisputed greatest shooter of all time. We're never going to see another Steph Curry. He ends up with the 73-9 record. It may have lost in the finals, but it's the greatest record ever. And it's not going to happen in a long time. He ends up, he has unbreakable records. He's got the All-Star games. He's got 4 championships at the end of the day, right? 2 finals.
You got 2.
Yeah, you're gonna do that, But that and he established himself as probably the greatest point guard in the history of the game, all in an under 10-year span, right? Magic's career wasn't super extensive or whatever the case may be. Like it wasn't. He wasn't there for he didn't have a 20-year career, whatever the case may be, but. Like I said, with Curry, all the things, if you just put it all together and you just look at Steph Curry, this was done in a very short period of time. And that's what makes it so crazy. And he's still not done.
Yeah. I think the debate of having this it's not completely crazy, but I feel like Steph, it should be some debates. Like, do you think he's better than Kevin Durant? Probably all time. He probably is.
Without a doubt.
Because Kevin Durant seems like he's still kind of struggling to get back to the promised land a little bit. He has time. I'm not saying he can't come back from the series against the Nuggets. It just doesn't look likely. But I feel like last year Steph kind of surpassed KD a little bit because people still believe KD might be a better player. He still can be a better player, but the legacy-wise, obviously Steph has that. But I just think, I don't know. Like I said, them 2 rings bother me. If that never happened, I would completely. But them bother me, bro, because I'm telling you, it's still 2 more rings he's added to his legacy that makes him have 4 championships. Because after that series, after the Cavs, Kyrie and LeBron came back in that series, I don't think the Warriors going to beat them the year after that. Yeah. That's why they got KD for that reason. So I don't know, and this is hypothetical, so you can really beat me with this, but I just don't know if Steph. He probably might get 1 more championship, but I don't know if he's at 4. It's just we can do that all day, to be honest.
Yeah. It's tough. But like I said, I just think sometimes when we're in the midst of something great, we don't realize how great it really is, right? I think it's one of those things where you got to look back in hindsight and realize, oh shit, this dude really did this in under it's really under 10 years, right? Like 10 years ago, Steph Curry wasn't an all-star. Steph Curry's first all-star came 2014.
I feel like once he retires, we'll really just see, like, looking back over his career, we'll really see, like, dang, this dude did a lot. In such a short, nobody established so much from a historical standpoint in such a short period of, like, he has so many things that are undisputed right now. Like, he's the undisputed. The game is the most flashy, one of the model things about basketball is shooting. And in under 10 years, he, like, hands down is not a guy who's a better shooter than him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he came to the league. Yeah, he came to the league in 2009, bro. Probably 2016. He was already the best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
Once he had that MVP season that we saw, he was like knocking I was like the second MVP season because he was back to back, but that second one was his most.
Yeah. So when we're in the midst of it, we may not realize it, but my biggest thing is, Curry's legacy may not be on LeBron's level, but I think he can get there because he's not, he even said he's not done writing his story. Everything at this point is icing on the cake for him.
He's not, but also we also seen, I'm pointing this out, when the playing field is even, LeBron always comes out on the top to win. I'm just say that.
That
It's
true.
even, it's the truth.
That is true.
And, I would say right now, the Lakers versus Warriors, that's even. So even if the Warriors win, I give them credit.
Yep,
when the playing field is even, LeBron always beats them.
That's true.
I know.
That is very true. That's true. That's a fact. But like I said, sit back and look at it in hindsight. Just realize what this dude is doing. Him and LeBron are the only two players in the NBA right now who don't have anything left to prove.
Yeah.
There are no other ones. I used to argue for Kawhi, but he actually has a lot to prove, right? Like he actually has a lot to prove.
He just got to prove he got to stay healthy.
Yeah, but like Curry right now, there's nothing you can say about him, right? Like him and LeBron are legit two dudes where you can say stuff about KD, you can say stuff about Kawhi, you can say stuff about Giannis. Can't say anything about Steph Curry. You feel me?
Only if the Celtics did what they were supposed to do last year and just beat them because they had them beat. Yeah, I don't want to discredit because I know I'm gonna sound like I don't care. I know I'm probably gonna sound like a hater, but anybody that watched this series know the Celtics should have beat them. Well, I knew exactly when they lost to him. I always go have to hear the Steph. Steph is better than what we think, which he is. So I'm not going to discredit him, but it's just frustrating knowing that the Celtics probably could have dominated that series 4-1. Yeah. They were winning like every game by probably 15 points. I remember so. But that's what makes him great. He's never out of it. Always come back.